So hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Raymond, and for this video I am going to be sharing to you guys my April TBR, or what we call April to be read pile. So this is not a drill, it is not a reading vlog, it is a TBR video. It's been a while since I actually have a TBR video. I think the last time that I actually have my TBR video was, I think, December of 2020. And 2021 I don't have any TBR videos because I am a mood reader, and sometimes I have like different moods on reading, on what books to read next. And I'm actually happy with my TBR for April because it is going to be exclusively all fantasy books, because I really do love reading fantasy. I think I've read only one book this year for fantasy, and now I am happy. I'm in the mood of reading fantasy because fantasy is my go-to genre. Also, my top 3 favorite genre is actually YA fantasy, or like adult fantasy, and then we have historical fiction and contemporary romance. So I did a lot of readings when it comes to contemporary romance, when it comes to historical fiction. I haven't really got into fantasy this year, and I am hoping to finish a lot of books for the month of April with fantasy. So I have a total of 15 books here, and my goal is to read just 10 books this April. I hope I can manage to read that one, because I believe I can do it because there is holidays and stuff like that here in the Philippines. Yeah, I'm really hoping to read a lot of books this April. So without further ado, let's get into this TBR video. So we actually have here different like category. We have the TBR jar, we have the March carryover, we have reread, we have physical books, and we have Kindle. And again, I have a total of 15 books here, and my target is only to read 10 books. So the first one here is on my TBR jar, and I picked a book with one word title, and I actually chose this one, which is Gilded by Marissa Meyer. Marissa Meyer is the author of the Lunar Chronicles, and she is also the author of the one that I DNF, which is Karma, or Instant Karma. I am actually having high hopes with this one because this is a retelling of Rumpelstiltskin. I hope I pronounced it right, but basically I really do love retellings, and I really do love Marissa Meyer's writing when it comes to retelling, so I really have a high hopes with this one. And there is also a sequel that is coming out with this one. It is, I don't know the title of it, but I believe it comes out on October or November of this year. So for my March carryover, I have here this one, which is The Wolf of Orenyaro by K.S. Villoso. This one is actually, I am actually 1/8 left with the book, and I am enjoying this one. This is a high fantasy novel. It is from a Filipino author, and I really do love the political intrigue in the story. It is actually, there's actually civil war here, so I really do love war. Like, you know, you want war, I'll give you war. That's what I wanted in the story. So this one, I really do love it, and I really wanted to know why this character Talien is the bitch queen of this story. I really do love the characters. I really do also love the fighting scenes here. It's really different from a YA book, and this is the first book, I believe, in a trilogy. So I'm actually hoping to finish this book first for the month of April. So the next category is rereads, and these are the books that I really did enjoy from the past that I wanted to read now, because I wanted to know if my feelings will still be the same as when I was younger. So the first trilogy that I'm actually planning to read is this one, which is the Young Elites trilogy, which consists of the Young Elites, Blue Society, and The Midnight Star. And this is actually one of my favorite books, or favorite trilogy of all time, aside of the Conqueror Saga, which is And I Darken, Now I Rise, and Bright We Burn. So with this one, I am really hoping to love this more this time around. This trilogy gave me a lot of emotions when I first read it, and I actually read it, I believe, 2015, 16, 17. So this is a backlist title, and it is a YA fantasy novel from Marie Lu, and we follow different characters in this one, and it is a fantasy novel wherein it is surrounded with blood fever, and we have this kind of characters who has this kind of ability or gift after the blood fever. Like, the children who survive the blood fever has this kind of marking, or like this kind of of abilities. The children who has this kind of ability is called Malfeto, or if you have a strong ability or strong gift, you are called or rumored called the young elite. So we have our main character, which is Adelina Amoteru, who is suffering from her gift, which is darkness. So this is kind of like, you know, a what we call like anti-hero story. We have this kind of group of people, which is the Dagger Society, and their goal is to defeat the king, because the king just really wanted to have this kind of abomination, to have this kind of gift with the other people around them. So it is really more of like, you know, dethroning the king and stuff like that, and of course conquering Adelina's Amoteru's darkness and how she can control her power. So I have high hopes of loving this trilogy the second time around. So the next book that I'm going to be reading is actually, I'm currently reading it right now, and it is this one, which is City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. And I'm actually bothered reading this with Drae from readingslumpjourney. I'm really happy because she already opened her City of Bones, or the Mortal Instruments series box set, and I'm really happy that she is now starting the series. I'm excited for her to like dive into the Mortal Instruments. And with this one, I actually don't have like expectations, because I actually gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars when I was younger. I think I read this way back 2016 or 2015, and what can I say is that the nostalgia that I'm feeling right now, like reading Clary, reading these characters, Isabel, Alec, and a lot of like Simon also. So this will be the last book that I'm going to be read for the month of April. So the two books that I'm going to share to you guys right now is actually supposedly a part 2 of my reading vlog number 29, and it is this one, which is Mistborn: The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson and Thunderhead by Neil Schusterman. And this one is actually the favorite book of Kim over Kim Reads, and this one is Brandon Sanderson Mistborn, one of the favorites of Patricia. So I'm actually planning to do a reading vlog again, the part 2 of my reading vlog number 29, because I actually haven't really got into this book last year. So yeah, I'm hoping to read this over the Holy Week, because I'm actually going to my province, and these two books are the one that I'm going to bring there. So I really am excited to dive into this one. And finally, I'm going to be finishing this one. And also, I don't think if this is a fantasy book like Thunderhead, I think it's like a sci-fi, but I'm just gonna like include this into my fantasy books this April. So yeah. So speaking of Kim and Patricia, I actually want to read this book, and to be honest, they already finished it last year. They made it and finished it, and I really did not finish it last year because I wanted to read it on a physical format. Because last year, I'm only reading on an ebook format. I don't have any Kindle that time, and the book that I'm talking about is this one, which is From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is actually one of the most hyped fantasy books last year, or I think this year, yun pa din. And it is actually really thick, and I am really hoping to finish this one. And I'm going to be listening to the audiobook for this one on script to, you know, to help me finish this chunk of a book. So speaking of retelling from Gilded, I'm actually planning to read the final book of The Camelot's Betrayal by Kirsten Weiss. So this is the Excalibur Curse, and this is again the final book in the trilogy. This is the retelling of the Arthurian legend, and we are following Guinevere in the story. So actually, the Camelot Betrayal, the second book, I actually did not like it the way it is, but I'm really having high hopes with this one, because knowing Kristen White, she will give you everything on the last book of the trilogy. Like her Conqueror Saga, her Bright We Burn, the final book of that trilogy, she gave it everything. And with this one, I have high hopes because this is the last book in the trilogy. So this will be a part of my April TBR. So the last physical book that I have right here is this one, which is Circe by Madeline Miller. And this one is actually, I am joining a book club which is called Little Bloom's Book Club. This is their April BOTM, and I really am hoping to finish this. I actually started reading it last year, did not make it because I'm not really into the fantasy or like, you know, mythological stuff. So right now I am going to manage to read this. This is a mass market paperback. I'm really hoping to finish it with the motivation of the book club. So part of my TBR as well. So let's go with my Kindle, and the first book that I'm actually planning to read on my Kindle is House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. So this is the sequel of The House of Earth and Blood, and the reason why I wanted it on Kindle because right now the physical book on Fully Book is now available, and I saw it, and I saw how humongously big that book. I feel that I'm not gonna read that book because I am going to be intimidated on how big it is, how heavy it is. So I decided to just read it on a Kindle format or an ebook format. So with the first book of this one, which is House of Earth and Blood, this is actually the first book that I've read during the pandemic, like the first few days of pandemic. This book is actually the first book that I've actually finished reading, and I actually did love it. There are just really some issues that I actually encountered towards the book, and I actually gave that book a 4 out of 5 stars. So I'm planning to reread it, but I decided not to and just go and dive into the sequel, which is The House of Sky and Breath. And I actually saw a lot of mixed reviews on this one, so I'm really hoping that I'm gonna like it. So yeah, I really do love the cover of this one. It's color blue, and but again, the book is just really big and heavy, and I foresee already that I'm not gonna read the physical book. So this is the first book on my list with my Kindle. Second book on my list is Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Su Ling Tan. So I'm actually buddy reading this with Charm over Charm in Wonderland last Feb. You heard it right, last Feb, and we did not get into it. I actually asked Charm to continue our buddy read for the month of April. So yeah, with this one, I believe it is a debut novel, and I actually saw the physical copy of this one, and again, I saw it. It's a bit of a big book, and I told myself, nah, I am not gonna buy this because number one, I am on a book buying ban. Like guys, I am in a book buying ban. That's the reason why I purchased my Kindle, because I wanted to avoid buying physical books and just read it on my Kindle. But again, I actually bought 2 books recently. That is somehow not good because I told myself that I'm on a book buying ban, so why am I buying? So now officially I am restricting myself of buying books. So yeah, Daughter of the Moon Goddess, part of my Kindle, and the second book on my Kindle, on the list of my Kindle. So yeah, Kindle, Kindle, Kindle. Next one here is actually a recommendation, and it is To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. This is a what you call this, a mermaid story, I believe, and it is a recommendation from Kim over Kim Reads. And to be honest, all of the recommendations or like the books that I'm planning to read is sometimes my personal choice or my booktube friends choice, or like buddy reading with my co-booktubers. So To Kill a Kingdom, I think it's a mermaid story, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I trust Kim with her taste towards books, and I'm going to read this very, very soon. The last book that I'm actually planning to read is actually unexpected, because if you guys know, I have a Kindle Unlimited. I'm subscribed to Kindle Unlimited, and I'm actually looking into this kind of like Kindle Unlimited books, which is free when you subscribe. And the book that I'm actually talking about is The Knight's Ransom by Jeff Wheeler. And I saw how it is. I saw how the cover is beautiful, because on Kindle it's black and white. Then I saw on Goodreads how beautiful the cover is. I really am too stunned because I really do love the cover. At the same time, all of the tropes, all of the topics there is very interesting on my end, because it talks about knighthood, talks about friendship, court politics, and of course love. I really do love that one. When it comes to fantasy, I really do love this kind of tropes or this kind of topics, because when it comes to fantasy, these are like my favorite thing, like, you know, war. That is why I really do love the Conqueror Saga, like conquering the nation, and that is also why I really do love the Netflix series, which is Vikings. Vikings, and I really do recommend that TV show. I don't know why I am recommending Netflix shows, but anyway, yeah, with this one, I'm just going to share with you guys that that is my favorite thing when it comes to fantasy. Aside of magic, I really do love the knighthood. I love conquering something, nation, war. You give me war, I will give you war. That's what I really wanted when it comes to fantasy. I wanted the politically intrigued stories and, you know, king, queen, prince, princess. That's what I like when it comes to fantasy. So I actually can carry all of the books that I'm planning to read for the month of April, but again, I have 15 books on my list. So how about you guys? You can share on the comment section what books are you planning to read for the month of April. I know I'm gonna upload this during April already, but what are your plans? You can comment down below and let's talk about it. If you are interested with the books that I actually mentioned on this video, and if you wanted to buddy read it, go and also comment down below or message me, PM me on my social. So I think that is my plan for the month of April, I hope, and I'm going to give you an update with all of my plans this April if I am succeeding it. But my plans again is to just read 10 books out of 15 of my TBR. So that's it for my video. So once again, thank you for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more about my bookish design, you click subscribe, and I will see you on my next video. Bye!